Hello, I'm Pancho Guerra, and today we're going to be talking about power transition. What is power transition? Power transition is where we're the top country, the powerful hegemony. And so in America, we want to be the top source of power. And nowadays, we had the incident of 9/11, and that caused a war on terror, and we should be fighting to be the top source of power. If not, we can go to war or anything. Another incident that's happened is the nuclear arms. We need to take away the nuclear arms from Iran, because if we don't take them away, we can have a power struggle and they could start a war with us. We don't want war in this country. We want to be the first and most important country. So how do we do that? We take away their weapons. We need to take away all their source of nuclear, so we don't get in war. If we are the top power.
Power balancing realists, countries should rely on their existing alliances and on their institutions to contain conflicts that affect them. After all, to power balancing realists, hegemonies always eventually decline, while other states seek to restore an equilibrium in global power. Therefore, it's best for countries to seek institutions in creating legitimate multilateral action plans against aggressors, rather than completely unilateral independent action plans. Power balancing realists see the US's invasion of Afghanistan in 2001 as a huge mistake. If from the start the United States had accepted the help of the United Nations and of NATO, power balancing realists believe the conflict would have been contained to only the Afghanistan region, rather than expanding into a much larger global war on terror. Power balancing realists prefer maintaining the stability of a region as much as possible by not drastically changing domestic regimes, even if it means those regimes are not democratic. This is another flaw that they saw in the US's foreign policy actions in Iraq in 2003. Ultimately, power balancing realists value stability over hegemony, which they believe is possible in their realism by having institutions keep major powers in check at all times.
Greetings and salutations. This is Theodore Buckles. Collective security is a concept which was used when NATO was established. Essentially, it is a protection measure adopted by several allied states. When one of these states is threatened, then its allies intervene and combat the aggressor. Now, this concept is based on two things: participation and obligation. This means they must come to an understanding that they are like a community, and secondly, they must intervene in order to annihilate any threat to their alliance. It can be said that the objective of these countries is to destroy all risks and unite the global security and neutralize an enemy before he can make this move. There have been both successes and failures of this principle. An example of a failure was Somalia. December of 1992, the United States dispatched forces under the UN to provide humanitarian aid to their country, which was being torn by civil war. When a Somalian warlord attacked UN troops, the UN gave US forces authorization to capture him. As the fighting started, a Black Hawk helicopter was shot down, and 18 US soldiers were killed. An example of a success was the first Persian Gulf War. It was a colossal war that ultimately saw Iraq being invaded because it violated sovereignty of another country. And this leads me to my next point: international law. International law is a judicial tool which communicates to several states a single vision regarding the international system. It offers the possibility of applying a series of rules that have the purpose of minimizing tension between states, but its main purpose is the instrument to provide the possibility of solving some conflicts through judicial means and not through military intervention. With that being said, this is Theodore Buckles signing off.
My topic is domestic power struggle. Domestic power struggle includes ethnic conflicts, and an example is partition. Ethnic conflict groups have ethnic identities, and meaningful associations that provide for their safety and welfare. From a realist perspective, ethnic conflicts can lead to failed states and terrorist breeding grounds. Ethnic groups support each other like a family. One group won't control all the power. Sometimes it's better to let ethnic groups live separately. From a realist perspective, forcing diverse ethnic groups to live together doesn't work because they fight. An example is Bosnia-Herzegovina and Serbia, where Catholics and Muslims live separately. Bosnia is under a confederation, but Kosovo became free.
I'd like to start off broadcast by saying I'm Russian living in Europe. This is Stepan Yankovic, tonight. After my great leader and Joseph Stalin defeated fascist commune Adolf Hitler, it was replaced by another fascist commune, the European Common Market and the year of my Lord Joseph Stalin, 1958. The market is a supranational institution. Supranational institutions seek to unite multiple countries behind common goals instead of state-specific ones. The European Common Market was able to reduce tariffs and establish universal external tariffs. It unified national currency. It was a market like no other. It was also a capitalist one. Its modern successor, the European Union, established principle of mutual recognition, which provides general standard throughout the whole market. It was able to sell its products within while keeping foreign products out. Hey, you want hair like Stepan Yankovic? I have beautiful hair thanks to Stepan's baby shampoo. It leaves hair silky smooth with plenty of bounce, and thanks to no internal tariffs, I get a great price. And the ladies love it.